Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the channel today. The Montreal Canadiens beat the Arizona Coyotes 3-2 at the jam-packed Mullet Arena. Yes, Mullet Arena in in Arizona. And it was a decent game. It was a decent game for a very, very late game. I actually just finished watching it this morning. We got a lot of stuff to go through in this game. We're going to have some fun, so make sure you stay tuned till the end. All right, so one of them is going to be St. Louis continues to put his lines in a blender throughout the game, and there is an explanation from Marty post-game that he gave to reporters last night. Anthony Richard making his Montreal Canadiens debut. Let's talk about that. We got his stats to break down here from this game specifically, and I think he had a pretty decent showing for his first one with the Canadiens. I'll tell you that right now. Sam Montembeault putting up another great performance and frankly bailing out the Habs maybe in this game based on the fact that they were, pretty well outshot. He makes 37 saves for 949 save percentage and improves his record for the season to 6-3-2. I think we got to start with Richard here. Like I said, he had himself a pretty good debut with the Canadiens, and I thought that the fact that he was moving up in the lineup, he even took Slavkovsky's spot on the line with Drouin and Kirby Dach. That was pretty interesting. I got to say right there, that was pretty interesting seeing that. And Richard actually just barely had more ice time than Slavkovsky in this game. Let me get this back up here because I want to talk about Anthony for a moment here and just how well I thought he played. I mean, it's amazing how when a guy comes in and plays his first game with a new team, how much jump he just naturally seems to always have. Like whenever a new guy comes in, I even remember this going back to Jordan Wheel. I remember when he played his first game with the Montreal Canadiens, and we thought, okay, like this guy can play. And he didn't end up sticking with the Canes very long, but he was a depth guy. He came in and out of the lineup. But Anthony Richard was leading the AHL in goals, and not that long ago. And he might still be right now. I don't have the numbers up as of right this second, but he was leading the AHL in goals. So good for him. And he played himself 10 minutes and 58 seconds, just to basically a roundup number of 11 minutes last night, which is pretty darn good coming in for his first game, and 2 shots on goal. He had a glorious chance to score. I don't know if you guys must remember that play if you watched the game, but he had what looked to be like a shot on goal, and the puck kind of bounced to him, and I don't think he expected it to, and he basically had an empty cage, and he just couldn't get any wood on it and get it on net because I was like, I was expecting him to score. I was expecting him to score there, and that would have just been awesome to see him score in his first game with the Canadiens. Not his first NHL game. He did play with, I believe it was Nashville in his first NHL game before this, but for his first showing and being a French guy and coming in and performing the way he did, I think you have to be impressed and pleased with how he played. I mentioned the 2 shots on goal, 3 registered hits in this game as well, and even 0 on the plus-minus side of things. So, good for him. And I thought he looked good. He had some nice jump. I mean, he can skate really well too. You guys probably saw that one rush on the right side where he brought the puck in all on his own, tried to create himself a chance, and didn't look uncomfortable, didn't look like he was fazed by the moment of playing with the Canadiens. I mean, he was only playing in front of about 4,600 fans because I did record the attendance for Mullet Arena was 4,600, which is less than the OHL games that I work at here in Niagara. But it is what it is for the Arizona Coyotes at this point. I just like that the Coyotes are actually wearing their original jerseys, by the way. They're so much nicer. So much nicer. So, again, big shout-out to Anthony Richard in his Habs debut. I think we can all say hats off to him, and I hope he keeps it going. Definitely earned himself a spot in this lineup where we know guys are still underperforming. Dadonov, Hoffman. Hoffman, he's got the game-winning goal. I meant to say Dadonov, Armia, who just still cannot buy a goal. Every time the puck gets on Armia's stick in front of the net, you can just see like the anxiousness of like, is the puck in the net yet? like from Joel or Yoel, and it's not. He just can't seem to score. So, and also I mentioned Dadonov. Hoffman's been playing fine lately. Like I said in the last video, I don't have any complaints about him. But Dadonov, Drouin showed some compete. So I'm not going to get on to Drouin, but guys like Armia and Jake Evans is Jake Evans. Can't seem to score either, but he's steady back there, I guess, defensively and in the faceoff circle. So we'll give him that. Now, as for St. Louis continuing to put his lines in a blender, he was asked about this post game, and we actually did get an explanation from Marty. So I'm actually going to pull this up from Priantha here, who always gives us great Habs content on Twitter. So shout out to her. Habs Martin St. Louis says juggling his lines at the end of the second period and third period was because as a head coach, sometimes you have to trust your gut. So Marty basically just saying here, whenever guys are going, they're going to be the ones on the ice. And we saw Slavkovsky again take another big hit last night. It looked kind of dangerous. Some people making Eric Lindros comments last night. Guys, he's 18 years old. He's got a lot to learn at this level still. I've said so many times, I'm not even going to mention the L word in Laval when it comes to Slavkovsky. I know some of you guys wanted him at the World Juniors, but we don't know what's best for him, except hopefully the Montreal Canadiens do, and they're going to stick with him right now. And he's going to continue to take these hard lumps and earn these lessons until he gets out of those bad habits, putting himself in positions to get hit. The one goal against Slavkovsky played the puck with his hand, and then it went the other way for a goal. That's going to happen. I mean, he's just going to make these mistakes. And fortunately, the Canadiens escaped with a win in this game, but he's still got so much to learn. And like I mentioned, Richard outplayed Slavkovsky in this game. That's a good thing for Richard. That's just showing that Slav's young. I mean, Richard's 25 years old. Don't forget this. He's 25. Slavkovsky's 18. Let's look at that just as one little comparison in terms of who was used for more ice time and why Richard was ultimately, moved into Slavkovsky's spot in the lineup with Doc and Drouin at one point. So I don't know why they continue to split up Doc, Caufield, and Suzuki on that top line, because they always go back to it. So in terms of Marty splitting up that line, I mean, he continues to do it, but is it necessary? I mean, yeah, it is, because they got to do some experimenting and try to establish, they got to try to establish another line that's going to be consistent, but they just still haven't been able to do it. As far as the rest of the lines tonight, and Cole Caufield with his team-leading 19th goal on a play where Caden Guhle is really, I've been noticing him a lot more lately. And I think a lot of folks have been talking about him a lot this season, but I'm really noticing him a lot more out there. And he goes out there to start overtime as well. But just the offensive side of his game is really, really sharp and getting better. And he's a great skater. They're saying the Habs are going to build around him, and they should on the defensive end. He's going to be their top defenseman most likely. I have zero doubt in that right now. Unless Lane Hudson just somehow becomes better in the future. But I think Caden Guhle's our guy. He's going to be our number one guy, especially with Mike Matheson going out with an indefinite injury for Lord knows how long right now. So, but Caden Guhle helping to set up Cole Caufield's 19th goal, a beautiful play where he just wheels around the zone, uses his feet, his vision, and ultimately the puck ends up on Cole's stick and he snipes for his 19th. So that was a pretty play as well. Christian Dvorak actually stole Arbor Jackey's goal. We all thought it was going to be Jackey's 5th goal of the season, but Devo, they got to give him one, playing against his former team, playing against the Arizona Coyotes. So Devo got the tip, and he ultimately got credited for his 7th goal of the season, assisted by Arbor Jackey and Evgeny Dadonov. He's getting points. He's getting on the score sheet. Now, Nick Schmaltz scored a goal assisted by Clayton Keller in this game. That was a nice little snipe. I mean, Sam Montembeault tried to get a shoulder up on it, just couldn't catch it. But Matias Michelli, who's a rookie, by the way, on the Arizona Coyotes, had himself a very nice goal. And I actually thought it was Clayton Keller that scored that, but I was corrected. And Matias Michelli came in on a break, a fast break, and just went 5-hole on Sam Montembeault. But the speed that he displayed there was. He kind of reminded me of Johnny Gaudreau there a little bit almost, or even like a younger Patrick Kane or something. Like, he just had some great wheels on that play and just knew the spot to pick. He didn't overthink it and just buried it 5-hole on Sam Montembeault, and that was nice. You got to give it to him. So from there, the Habs go into overtime, and Mike Hoffman decides that he's going to shoot, and he had some chances in this game as well. The Habs had a lot of chances. Caufield had couple of chances to bury this game. Now, I think some of you guys might have been nervous when you saw Joel Edmondson get out there in overtime. Did you guys say the same thing out loud to yourselves that I did? What is he doing out there? So Joel Edmondson comes on the ice for the Canadiens in overtime with Mike Hoffman and who was the other player? It's escaping right now. But Hoffman ultimately elects to shoot because he figured that he was going to draw the defenders to him. This is what he said in his post game. He figured he was going to draw the defenders to cover him, and they just gave him a bit more time and space than they should have. And Hoffman just picked the short side, and he snipes, and he wins it. He's been playing fine. I've had no issues with Mike Hoffman this season. I mean, not this season, but lately, Mike Hoffman's been doing just fine as far as I'm concerned. Hoffman's 7th goal of the season. Kirby Dach, thank you. Kirby Dach and Joel Edmondson both got an assist on this overtime winner. So an interesting combo of Kirby Dach, Hoffman, and Edmondson in overtime. I think you guys can agree to that. But it was cool to see, and again, another assist for Kirby Dach there. It was just cool to see that these guys were able to get it done on an overtime where Montreal pretty much had the puck almost the entire time. So kudos to that. All right. So as I mentioned, guys, that Mike Matheson out indefinitely. So that this makes it a little bit more tough for the defensive end the rest of the way for the Canadiens. Now, as far as the draft lottery odds are concerned, I don't really want to mention the word tank so much anymore. I just want to say that, you know what, if we're going to get a top draft pick this year, if it's going to happen, maybe 2, it's going to happen naturally. And I think the Habs draft lottery odds will come naturally by way of the lineup, right? And how healthy they're going to remain or not, or how many guys are going to be traded out, right? So we'll find out. We'll find out. We got some news yesterday, too, that PK Subban will be honored by the Montreal Canadiens on January 12th versus Nashville, which is pretty cool. PK's got a homecoming. He's retired now, and his best years by far were with us, with the Canadiens, and really bringing back some great memories of when PK was primetime PK. Shout out to Nick Lemaire for that reference there. But that's going to be fun. Now, my next question, though, is when are they going to honor Markov? Because I know that his turn has got to be next. It's got to be coming soon. You guys know that he's been my favorite player of all time for the Canadiens. That could change over time. I don't know. But as of right now, me being a defenseman, Markov's still my favorite all-time player. He helped me define the kind of player that I wanted to be. I didn't know I was a defenseman for years. And then, I started playing defense and realizing how much I loved the offensive defenseman style of play, thanks to Andrei Markov. So that's a fun little fact right there, guys. All right. So thanks for watching. That's everything on this game. And we'll see you guys post-game, most likely against Colorado. Probably going to be a Thursday video. So a Thursday morning video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're liking this channel, please do hit that like button. And, of course, hit subscribe. I ask you to do this at the end because if you've stayed till the end and you're a new viewer, I appreciate it. And there's more to come. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers. DC signing off.